Okay, this is part 2 of our Chapter 1 review. So we're starting off here with the linear measurement part. So the first segment we'll look at is measured in centimeters. The second one's measured in inches. So in centimeters, we're breaking up from 1 centimeter to the next. We break up and count by tenths. Right? There's 10 millimeters to each centimeter. So as I look at this as closely as I can see, I start here, it's more than 3 centimeters. And then there's 1, 2, 3, and it looks like right on the fourth one, so that would be 3 whole centimeters. That's not a very good 3. 3 centimeters, and then it looks like we have 4 more tenths of a centimeter left, okay? Or 3.4 centimeters. We could write that as 3 2/5, or we could just say 3.4 centimeters. We'll go with that. Okay. This one is measured in inches, so now be careful here. We've got our 1 inch, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So the inches are broken up into sixteenths. So go ahead and try this one on your own. Okay, so if you measured this one correctly, you should have seen that you have 1 whole inch, and then you have 4 sixteenths, or 1 1/4, or really this would be 1.25 inches. Okay. Or like we said, 1 1/4, and this could also be 3 2/5. Okay. Okay, so here we're finding measurements, and we're making use of segment addition. If one point is between another point, like for example in this first one here, I have S between R and T. Well, then I can safely assume that RT, the whole piece, has to be equal to RS plus ST. And I can do the same thing over here. The whole piece, AC, has to be equal to AB plus BC. But you can see I'm kind of given different things in each one of these. In this first one here, I'm given the 2 pieces, and I'm asked to find RT. So to find RT, I would have to add the 2 pieces that I have together. RS is 2 centimeters, and ST is 2.5. So that would be 4.5 centimeters for RT. Okay? This one's a little bit different. I have the whole piece AC, which is 6. I have AB, which is 2 3/4. But what I'm missing here is BC. So go ahead and finish this one on your own. Okay, so to find BC, I would have to subtract. So BC here should be 6 minus 2 3/4. Okay, so if I subtract 6 minus 2 3/4, lost my pen for a second there. I will have 3 1/4 inches for that one. 3 1/4 inches. Okay, so now I'm going to use some algebra. Again, they're telling me that S is between R and T. So if I know that S is between R and T, I can either draw a picture or I can immediately write down that RS plus ST equals RT. Okay? And in my directions here, I want to solve for x, and I also want to solve for rs. All right, but the setup's going to be the same in both of them. This one here, I'm going to start off with rs plus st equals rt. Okay, and now we fill in what we have. They told me that rs is 5x. Okay, they told me that st is 3x. And they told me that rt is 48. I'm just going to write equals 48. And now I can combine like terms on this side. I have 8x equals 48. So if I divide both sides by 8, I get x equals 6. And don't forget, they wanted us to find rs. Okay, well there's rs up there, it's 5x. So to find rs, 5 times 6 is 30. Okay, so for this first one I have two answers. I have x equals 6, and then I also find that rs is 30. Okay, try number 6 on your own. Okay, so in number 6, what do we have? We know that rs is 2x. We know that st is 5x plus 4. And we know that they sum to equal rt, which is 32. So combined like terms, we would have 7x plus 4 equals 32. Subtract 4 from both sides. So I have 7x equals 28. Divide by 7. X is 4. But don't forget the second part of this. We also are supposed to find rs. So I found x is 4. Rs is just 2x. It's right up here. So 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, before I jump into the next section of problems here, I want to remind you, you should have everybody received a laminated little card with these formulas on it, okay, to remind you of slope, distance, and midpoint. So what I would suggest you do is have that out as we work on the next section. Have that in front of you. You're allowed to use this on all of your tests and quizzes as well. By the way, you should have gotten a corrected one where this is a comma and not a plus sign there. It should be a comma. Okay, so have this formula sheet or formula card out in front of you as we work on the next section. Okay, so one thing we want to be really careful of here is to make sure you're following the directions. What are we doing up here? Distance. Down here is midpoint. So let's use those formulas appropriately. So for distance, I want to take the difference between the two x coordinates. So I would have 4 minus 1, and then I'm going to square that. Okay, those are my two x coordinates. I'm going to add to that the difference between my two y coordinates, 6 minus 3. Okay, and I square that. And then I'm going to take the square root of that whole thing. So 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 squared is 9. 6 minus 3 is 3. 3 squared is also 9. So what I have under here is the square root of 18. Okay, if you want to be fancy and take the perfect square out of that, you can. We're okay with just decimals. So on your calculator, you get 4.2 for that one. Okay, try number 8 on your own. Okay, if you plugged in correctly here into your distance formula, you should have gotten 10.8 for the distance between those 2 points. So again, let's pay attention. We're doing midpoint. I think this formula is even easier. So we use our midpoint formula. I'm going to add the two x's, which are -9 plus 5, and divide that by 2. That's my x coordinate, so I put a comma there. And then I have my y's, 3 plus 7, and we'll divide that by 2. Okay, so 9 plus 5 is -4. We'll divide that by 2. 3 plus 7 is 10. and we'll divide that by 2. So my midpoint is going to be -2, 5. Try number 10 on your own. Okay, number 10, if you did it correctly, you should get a decimal for one of them, but you should get -10 for your x. That is a 10. And then for your y, you're going to add -7, -4, that's -11. Divide that by 2, you get -5.2.